So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to a little webinar on how to make the most of Apple News Plus. Here is myself, Jörg Walterscheid. I'm CRO of Sprylab, and with me, Stefan Heck, our CEO.
Hi there.
We will just wait a couple of more seconds so that we can get all the participants online, and then we will start into the webinar. So just give us a couple of additional seconds. We can see that there are more and more dialing in, and we will just wait for them. So we should start in about a minute. So, hello again. So as just said, we waited a couple of more minutes so that the last participant can dial in. Welcome again to our webinar on how to make the most of Apple News Plus. Very, very happy that so many of you have signed up for the meeting today. You will get the recording after our session as well. In the end, we will have, of course, a couple of minutes for Q&A. And then let's just start into the session. What we will present today is a little bit what is Apple News Plus. I think most of you know exactly what it is, but it's still quite nice to have a common understanding. We will talk about the pros and cons of Apple News Plus, what's new about Apple News Plus, Apple requirements from a technical perspective quickly, and then of course we will jump into how to produce Apple News Plus overall, and of course with Sprylab. There's a little bit the idea of today, and if there's something missing, just write the questions in the forum. You will see in the panel of GoToWebinar, there's an option to write some questions. Just post the questions and we will go through them right after our presentation. Okay, let's start. What is Apple News Plus? I think we had a similar session 2 weeks ago together with the PPA in London, Old Street, where they're located, and there we also started with the same PowerPoint. Magazines are iconic and a part of our culture. So I think the big change of Apple News Plus is really that magazines get back into the focus, that the idea of Apple is to make magazines look great again, engaging. So therefore they put a couple of nice interactive elements into the production workflow so that it's not just a pure responsive article page, it's really getting magazines more engaging, more storytelling like again. So this is what it's about. If you jump in, what is Apple News Plus? As you all know, Apple News Plus is a subscription service which gets users access to magazines and some newspapers, both as complete issues or single articles. Most of the time, the single articles will be used for, let's say, recommending a further reading. It is a subscription-based paid service, $9.99 a month. It has been launched yesterday, as you all know. First month is for free, similar to the launch in the US and Canada. Now it has been launched in the UK and in Australia. Apple News Plus, because we got the question last time as well, is integrated in the Apple News app, which is quite important because the Apple News app is pre-installed on all iOS devices. So it's a part, as you can see on the picture on the right-hand side, it is a part of the Apple News app. From a publisher's perspective, to publish content into Apple News Plus, currently at least, you have to be invited by Apple. So there is no option that you just can publish into Apple News Plus. It is currently at least, and we are not sure if that will change. That is a strategic question from Apple, of course. It is an invitation-only based approach. So you have to get an invitation by Apple to be able to publish to Apple News Plus. However, which is open for everyone, is to publish, of course, to Apple News. Then Apple News in numbers. So we found a couple of numbers. As you all know, it's Apple News Plus in the UK has just been launched. So the numbers are more US and Canada based, but it's quite impressive numbers, as you can see. In the first 2 days after the Apple News Plus has launched in the US and Canada, they already got 200,000 subscribers, so quite a big number. Overall, of course, you have 85 million active users in Apple News, which shows the potential or the market size of Apple News Plus as well. If you have 85 million people who are actively using Apple News, there might be quite some good options to get them subscribed to Apple News Plus as well. 5 billion read articles in Apple News, which again shows the huge number and the huge potential of Apple News Plus overall. Over 300 popular magazines in Apple News Plus. As you can see here, we found a source which showed which titles have been launched in Apple News Plus in the UK, and you see them on the right-hand side. So these are titles like Harper's Bazaar, Cosmopolitan UK, Empire, Grazia UK, Hello, Women's Health UK, New York Magazine. So quite some big titles have been part of the launch in UK, which is great. So there is access, if you subscribe to Apple News Plus, to all these popular magazines just for, in brackets, just for $9.99 a month, instead of paying all these all these titles, title by title. If you jump further, then the pros and cons of Apple News. So the clear cons from an overall perspective, so it's not a pure Spryler perspective, it's an overall perspective, is of course that Apple takes a 50% cut of all subscription revenue. But on the other side, and you will see that on the pros, it is also a fee you pay for getting access to these huge numbers of 85 million active readers of Apple News. So it is kind of, I wouldn't say fair, but it's the counterpart which you need to pay. So they take a 50% cut of the subscription revenue. You do not have really control over the placement of the stories. So there's an editorial staff in the background of Apple. They will somehow manage the placement as well. So there's no active way that you can push your content higher in the hierarchy. It will be done by Apple. There's no direct relationship with the subscribers, as we already know from all the app parts in iTunes. So you will submit your app, for instance, to iTunes, and thereafter they subscribe via iTunes, but you don't have any direct relation to subscribers, and that will be the same here in Apple News Plus. And last but not least, of course, you can see it again from both angles, but of course it could be a danger of a cannibalization of your own platform and own channels. On the other side, which then plays against the cons, is clear pros. One very nice one is that the news will be curated by Apple News staff. So there are people involved in positioning and checking the content. no algorithms. So it's kind of nice because one nice advantage is there's no fake news. All content will go through a curated Apple News Plus stuff. It is commitment to user privacy, clearly said from Apple, that there will be no tracking of what the subscribers read and no distribution of the data they collect somehow to advertisement agencies, advertisers at all. So this is a clear commitment to user privacy. The user data and tracking data will not be sold, displayed, or whatever, or used for any advertising purposes. Magazines can look spectacular, which is great because it can get more engagement in reading, by that more time spent. So it's really that what we showed in the beginning at the first slide, get magazines back at the right place. Of course, what we already showed by the 85 million people that read constantly or use constantly Apple News on their device. It's of course the reach of the huge audience which you get. Then of course the marketing power of Apple. So if they want to push something, and it has been clearly said it is a strategic initiative, it's a strategic direction they want to move with Apple News Plus, then of course they will invest in their strategic direction, also with money in the marketing, where you all can benefit from if you are a part of Apple News Plus or Apple News. And of course, it is a new acquisition channel for your own platform, right? So it is allowed, and that was a question last time, it is allowed to link from your content either within Apple News Plus to related content or back to your own platforms and own content. So by that, it is also an acquisition channel for your content, for your brand, as well as for your channels. What is new about Apple News Plus? Apple News, you all know probably, but the new thing on Apple News Plus is that you have hundreds of magazines and leading newspapers through that access. So it's pay once and read all. It is a cover-to-cover magazine reading, which is great. There's offline capability included, so you can read the magazines offline after downloading. And then they have made it up that you can access up to 6 family members based on your account. As said before, Apple News, any publisher can participate. Currently on Apple News Plus, you have to be invited. Nice, if you take a look on the interactive magazine components, as said before, it is first time focus on magazines. It is, of course, iPhone and iPad friendly designs. You have animated covers, animated by videos, for instance. You have animated content components, which you can use. So parallax scrolling, animations, fade in, fade out, very nice. Of course, you have responsive text and different text styles. So columns and boxes which you can use, the background colors on the textile, so you can use all these components in your content to make the content look even greater. You have an easy reader flow with category sorting, so it's quite easy to navigate to find the categories you are interested in. So all this is already included in Apple News Plus, and it will grow. So there are clear commitment to come up with new ideas to make the UI UX even better than today. So the focus is to have a good start, and then based on feedback, based on own ideas, to make it better and better and more engaging, so that the Apple News Plus idea really can grow. Here 2 or 3 pictures, how it can look like and how spectacular it can be. Very nice, as well as that you have animated covers. So by animation of including, for instance, videos. If you take a look at the Apple requirements from a technical point of view, so they have created a format called ANF. It's a JSON format. It's very techy, but only that you know, included in these format are all these components I just talked about. Means text, images, audio, video, embedded social media, photo or picture galleries, mosaics, swipers, data tables, interactive maps. So all these components exists and can be used during the creation, during the workflow. Very nice. Then you have different enhancement possibilities, which then also are reflected in the ANF format, like animations and custom styles. And you can add further meta tags like the author language, whatever it's needed. So it's all based in the code. This code has, of course, been adapted by our own software. So if you use our software and publish, the format we drop is an ANF format which can directly be uploaded. Ways to publish. I will switch over to my colleague Stefan, and he will quickly introduce you on how we implemented a very nice and smooth and efficient workflow, how we do that, and he will show you a little bit more in detail how it can be done. So I just give him the access rights so that he can take over the moderator, and we talk later again.
Thank you, Jörg. So I'm trying to share my screen now with you. Should be working, and switching back on the slides. So ways to publish to Apple News Plus. A little introduction. We've been building a huge amount of native apps for publishing houses, and in the past we did that, for example, for the Bild, the biggest German newspaper, and we put a lot of effort in how editors can do their own storytelling, their own animations, and everything like that. Resulted in too much effort to produce a nice issue. Because it was a lot of manual work to do. And now when we looked at this new Apple format, we thought about, okay, there are the animations again and the possibility to make great magazines again, which we really liked. But we really thought about, okay, how can we incorporate what we learned, that there must not be too much manual effort to produce real nice looking magazines. And so we came up with a workflow which looks like this. We're starting with the PDF from the issue, and it can be also a direct connection to a print system like Woodwing or K4 if you have structured data. But in the most editorial teams, we know it's the easiest to start with the PDF. And then we have a Purple.ds transformer, which is using a service from our partner company Xcargo. So Xcargo is doing the PDF cropping for us. And then we have all the articles which are in the PDF in a nice structured way. And we feed these articles in our Purple.ds hub. The Purple.ds hub is our main central point for multi-channel publishing. And of course, we added Apple News and Apple News Plus channels to the Purple.ds hub. So once you get your articles and your content in the Purple.ds hub, you can rearrange it, bundle issues, and then publish it into Apple News Plus. For Apple News Plus, you need another content, which is the theme. You see it below here. So you need your content and your theme, and the content and the theme together will be published to Apple News Plus and results in a really nice looking article, which looks like your magazine CI. The theme is always a small custom development project, only a few configuration steps, but per magazine there should be 3 to 6 different themes so that the articles look a little bit different, maybe a theme for each category and so on. Of course, when we're looking back to how use what you've done in the Purple.ds hub, so we've the content in the Purple.ds hub and you animated everything, then it's a really nice idea to not only use it in the Apple News Plus channel, but also to publish what you've done to your white label app and your white label website, so that you have all the animation, all the effort you've done in all digital channels. And the hub is also can also be published the content to your social media channels and even more channels. So we have Alexa connected, that Alexa can read your articles and so on. Okay, now from the slides to the system. So we look under the hood, how it looks like. What we've done, we've just used 2 PDFs, I can show you later, and converted these PDFs to articles and put the articles in our Purple DS Hub. This is the login of our Purple DS Hub you see here, and I just log in. And once you're logged in, and that's just a demo environment, you see it, you have a nice little dashboard what you can do with the Purple DS Hub. And on the left-hand side, you see that we distinguish between Purple Feed and Purple Issues. Purple Feed is an article-based publishing of your content. So you can push articles based on categories to your website, to your app, and even to Apple News. And then you have the Purple Issues, which bundles the articles. We dive in there. And there you see I have three different issues there. And we have one demo issue for the webinar, which consists of 4 pages. And I go in there, show the pages. And there you see that we have just 2 articles. One is already enhanced, and the other is the original article we just imported from the PDF. So maybe we start there. So we're going into an article, and when we import in PDF, you see the article just like this. So there's nothing touched by humans until now. So we're doing this. This is the article which can be coming out of the PDF. This is coming out of a PDF or directly out of an editorial system. So now you start to enhance the PDF and to do animations, add some more interactive components, videos, and stuff like this. So maybe we start at the nice hero image, and we just want to have an animation there. So you see on the right-hand side, you have all the settings you can do. On the left-hand side, you see your content, and the content is organized in blocks. So you can touch each block and modify the block attributes and stylings and stuff in the new blocks. We will do this in a second, and add animation. So for the hero image, for example, we do an animation and say, let's do a fade in animation. That's done with 1 click, as you see. And then we go in or check the other content, and these quotes here, which look quite nice, in the Apple News Plus, so they will come in the theming. They are already having an animation because our importer can do some rules. So you can define rules for the importer. And this is an example where we defined a rule for the importer. So when the importer recognizes a quote, it creates a quote block, but also sets the fade in animation based on a rule. And we have a very high percentage of 90 to 95% of rules we can detect blocks and do animations and stuff like this. So I don't have to touch this quote because it already has the animation we want to have. Here you see that we already have a slider, so an image gallery. It's also based on rules. So there are 2 images, and the importer just put them into a nice gallery. So we don't have to touch the gallery. Maybe just, let's check. No, we don't. I do this later. I add images later. So we go on, and now we actually want to change something. So maybe we want to add a parallax effect here. So how do we do this? This is a section, and with the section we can do some nice things. So we do the attachment or the background. We say it stays fixed. So we have a nice parallax effect here, and now we're adding some sections. And maybe the section should have a nice background, so a white background, so that we can a little bit see it a little better. Let's do a white background, and for the design style, we just make it a little bit transparent. And then we just move in these blocks below the no parallax effect. So we move in this image, we move in this paragraph here. So I just take the boxes and move them up and drop them in a new section. So drop it, take the next one, drop it again, and also the quote. So now we have a small parallax effect with a section, white transparent background for the inner section, and we placed just by dragging and dropping some elements into this parallax section. Then we go down and check the rest of the article. So here's again image gallery, which looks nice. We don't have to touch it. And then maybe this image is a single image, so there's no rule for an automatic animation. We do a fade in, and here we do a fade in as well. So that was all based on the original print content we did till now. And now you can think of adding some custom content, because it's a nice block editor. You can just insert blocks anywhere you like. So maybe you add a block here and maybe some more digital content, maybe a YouTube video. And I don't have the right video for this article, so I dropped just an article from Sprylab. So we have a nice article, video in the article. The next thing would be an Instagram. So we add it as well. Again, we do something from Sprylab. And you see it's really easy to add and enhance the article with some additional digital contents. And we can also, back to the rules again, we can really preset a rule for the importing that we have a really high efficiency, so that you can have a really high automation on that, just touching maybe your core articles, doing where you have additional videos, doing some animations, but we have really a workflow where we can have a really high automation. I hope you can see that till now. Okay, I just delete these blocks again because the video on the Instagram have nothing to do with our small article here from Oasis. So when we're ready with the article, you can do a lot more stuff there, but let's have it for this. We go on the document level. On the document level, you see here on the right-hand side, you can decide to publish into what channel. So of course, we can publish the now enhanced article to the app. We can publish the enhanced article to the web, to social media, to Apple News, and to Alexa. And you have a nice preview here. When you go back to the issues, I can just cancel the edit I just made because I've already uploaded this. So I show you, but now on the issue page, so we were in the issue. If you go into the issue, so that's the cover sheet, let's say, we could set a cover and publish the whole issue with one click, which is very important for the Apple News Plus workflow. So we can, with one click, publish the whole issue and all articles which are attached to the issue. So in this webinar 2019 issue, there are 4 pages. All these 4 pages would be published to Apple News Plus and to all the other channels you've selected to publish to. So now when you go to Apple News Plus, I think you know that you have to download your articles from the iCloud to give them a try. So you have a desktop tool which is called the News Preview, and you download articles here, and you see I just switched to all published articles. There you see the articles we just did. So webinar 2019 is the cover, and then we have our 4 articles below that, and you can download these articles just by clicking here and download the article. If you do this, you'll end up with the JSON format Jörg just described. So you have a small folder, and you have I just showed you here. So if you download it, you have a small article JSON, and this one you can just drag and drop into the News Preview app, and then the News Preview is loading your article, and you can select on which devices the preview should be shown. And we're doing this. So it's loading the article, it takes a second, and then I should bring up I've taken the wrong one. That's the second one. We did this one, so sorry for that. The first article looks a little bit different. Switching to the first one, we just edited in the Purple DS Hub. Waiting a second that the right article is loaded. So here we go. Here you see the Oasis article, and now it's combined with the theme we did for this article. And as you see, these quotes are moved in, have a nice red box. These are the image galleries. And here's our small parallax example we just did together. And at the bottom, again, the second image gallery, and then the fade in of the last images. So that's a very simple article. What I forgot to show, and I jump back in there for a second, is how you attach the template, because of course you can attach a template on a per article base, and you're just doing that here. So the article theme, this is where you can attach the template for your article, and of course you can have as many articles as you like. So this is just the red, which reminds me it's the right article, so that the quotes are with these nice red borders we have seen in the article. So I go back to show you again. So these are styled by the Apple theme, because in the web, these quotes look like this. Could be also be styled with the red borders, but the system gives you the full flexibility to have different themings for web, for app, and for Apple News Plus, which is quite nice, so that you're really flexible in choosing your layout. I want to show you another example, and maybe this time start with the PDF. Just opening up a small PDF here. So this was a PDF which a customer of ours just provided us and asked us for a Apple News Plus conversion. And as you can see, the magazine is, let's say, not very digital at the first look, right? So it's a very print styled article, and we had really a little bit thought about, okay, what can we do there, and how do we process these articles into a nice Apple News Plus article. And we did this article I'm showing here, and I skip maybe the article editing part, just to remind you it's the same again. After importing the PDF, we have the article. Sorry, that was the cover. I have to go into the issue here. We have the article here, which is not enhanced, and I can edit the article in the Purple DS Hub. And as shown in the article before, now I can just with some a few clicks, I can just enhance this article as well. And I skip this for now and show you the result. Dropping the JSON, I've uploaded to Apple. After enhancing, downloaded it, extracted the archive I downloaded from iCloud, having the article JSON, dropping the article JSON again into the Apple News Plus preview, and then the simulator comes up, and you can see here what we've done out of this article based on the PDF. And that's really quickly done. So, and of course, you can add some more effort into it to make a little bit more fancy stuff. The system gives you all the possibilities to do whatever you think you imagine, because I think we can provide nearly 90% of the Apple blocks defined in the JSON format. You can actually edit with our editor here and publish it then to Apple News Plus. Okay, back to the slides again. So what we've seen now, to recap, we started with a PDF using our transformer, which cropped the articles out of the PDF and imported the articles in a structured way in our block editor in the Purple DS Hub, which is the Gutenberg editor actually. And then you can enhance the articles. with animation, with parallax, with sections, whatever you can think of, and then you can publish your enhanced article, of course, to Apple News Plus. That's what we're talking about today, and the whole issue to Apple News Plus with one click, but you can reuse the enhanced content in your website, your app, and also on social media. Okay, and I think we nearly touched all the advantages of Purple DS in terms of Apple News Plus. So we have a highly automated workflow. You've seen that because based on a PDF, we're doing the structure automatically. Based on transformer rules, we can add section design animations and stuff like this. So you have really a low manual effort to do amazing magazines and nice articles. And as mentioned a few times now, you can reuse everything in all your other publishing channels. Okay, so maybe that's a little bit overview from our system. And now we can see if there are some questions coming up and that we can answer here.
Yes, so as said in the beginning, just use the question block in the GoToWebinar panel. Write down all your questions and we will pick them question by question and try to answer them if we are able to do that. So just start writing and we will pick them up.
Jörg, I have a question. I see a question is, how long takes the PDF to be transformed?
We can do that. We do that together with our partner Xcargo in the Netherlands, and we have let's say a normal turnaround time from 8 hours. But we already serve today a couple of titles which are more newspaper titles which have a daily release. So we have turnaround times also up to 2 hours. So normal turnaround magazine times, I would say it's 8 hours easy, and we can accelerate that up to 2 hours if we would like to do that.
Perfect. So another question I see here, if all animations are available on the website in the apps as well.
Just a quick one. Sorry for that, Stefan. I just got a question back. 2 hours for one page? No, 2 hours. 2 hours for a complete issue. And as said, the normal average turnaround time is 8 hours for a complete issue, a weekly, a monthly, a daily one. It doesn't matter. If we have the need and the demand to do it because it's a daily newspaper, then we can do a complete issue in 2 hours, the conversion into the hub. From there, as Stefan showed quite nicely, we can define jointly a couple of importing rules so that most of the stuff is already pre-configured, so you don't have to touch the articles in the editor any longer. However, of course, it's difficult to predefine by rules which video you want to embed or which social media channel you want to attach. So there is always kind of some manual effort. There will always be, but the transforming from PDF to a structured content into the hub, the normal turnaround time, as said, 8 hours for a complete issue, not for a single page, or up to 2 hours for a complete issue, not for a single page. Sorry for that. I just got the question in here. Stefan, can you repeat your question again?
I add some information because maybe we missed that a little bit. The workflow until everything is nicely structured in the hub is fully automatic. So no manual effort in transforming the PDF, structuring the PDF. So it's just a matter of time sending your PDF, and then normally 8 hours later, you have all your content in the Purple DS hub. If you need more speed, then up to 2 hours transformation time is possible as well, but that's fully automatic. The second step is the manual one I showed you, the enhancing of the articles, and that's 4 to 8 hours for the whole issue, depending on how much do you want to invest into the animations and stuff. Okay, Jörg, the question I had before here on my screen was if these animations can be reused in the app and the website as well.
Yes, absolutely. This is what Stefan also tried to show. The hub is, let's say, a channel neutral editorial software where we have connected a couple of channels to. One we showed today is the Apple News Plus channel, but as we are, our hub is a multi-channel publishing solution, we have already pre-connected a couple of additional channels, means a white label website, white label app, based on our own technology natively, social media, Amazon Alexa. So all these channels can also be used from the same point of content creation, content enhancement, and content publishing.
Perfect. So do we have more questions here?
Probably I can take up one question we had in the PPA session we did 2 weeks ago, which was a very interesting one, was the question of linking. Can we link content to external sources from Apple News Plus? Yes, you can do. If the articles, however, if the articles also exist in Apple News, the linking will be done Apple News Plus internally. If the content is not on Apple News Plus, because you probably not publish all your content, you can link to external content as well. Exactly. So this is was the question on linking. The other question we had, and I said it in the beginning, is can everybody publish to Apple News Plus? Currently not. We had a very nice lady in the PPA event who asked us, hey, I would like to publish my magazine as well to Apple News Plus, but I haven't gotten an invitation. So currently it is an invitation only approach. If this will be changed, it's a question of Apple, of course, but currently it is a selection made by Apple by inviting. What doesn't mean, as said also in the start of the presentation, what doesn't mean that you cannot publish to Apple News. So the same workflow we showed today and the same publishing channels can also be connected to Apple News. So it's not only Apple News we feed, it can also be Apple News Plus as shown today.
Yeah, perfect.
Any further questions? Please shoot. We are happy to answer all of them. You will get what we showed today after the session. We are happy to answer any questions afterwards. Just drop us an email on hello@sprylab.com, or you will see in the wrap up we send out, you will see the email address of Stefan. So you can also drop him directly an email. Both works. So if you have any further questions, we are happy to answer them after our session here. Okay, then I would say thanks so much being part of the webinar. Was great. Thanks for the questions. I hope you got a little insight in what is Apple News Plus, and I think now we will read a couple of more insights during the next days now after the launch in the UK and in Australia. Very exciting to see how it develops in both countries. I hope you saw how efficient our system is, and it got you a flavor of how it works and how great the output is as well by the news preview. You can see that, you could see that there. So I hope, really, we both hope that you enjoyed our session. As said, should you have any further question, please drop an email. We are happy to answer.
Yeah, thank you and have a nice day.
Thanks so much. Talk very soon. Bye-bye.